Thank you for joining FTMIG as we begin the morning drive with Matt Badylak, the President and CEO of Galiano Gold. Appointed to the position in June of 2021, Matt was previously the COO and had a major role in building the senior executive technical team. Matt has over 20 years' experience in the mining industry and brings a decorated resume, including his role as general manager at Kisladag with Eldorado Gold, where he also held numerous senior management roles across the company's operations. Matt holds a Bachelor of Science in Metallurgy, a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, and is a member of the Australian Institute of Mining and Metallurgy. Please stay tuned for more.
Matt Badylak. Did I say it right?
You did, yes.
Okay, how do you say that in Polish? Because you're Polish.
I am Polish originally, yes. So if you said it as a Pole,
Yeah.
it'd be Badylak.
Badylak.
Yes.
Yeah, see, that's a nicer way of saying it. Like, we could say you are the president and CEO of Galiano Gold, or we can say you're the president and CEO of Galiano Gold.
Galiano, yeah,
Galiano.
why not? Yes.
So we're going to take a little drive, but your stock is around a 52-week high. You're sitting around 150 million market cap. How many shares are outstanding?
225 million.
And you actually generate some cash flow.
We do, yes, and we had a very good year last year with regards to free cash flow generation. In what was a challenging period with regards to inflationary environment.
Sure.
We did generate about $44 million of free cash flow at the joint venture level last year, and built total cash at the JV by year end to 98 million. So sitting very, very comfortably with regards to cash at the joint venture, and then obviously the company itself is debt-free across the board, and we do have an additional $58 million of cash at the corporate level. So there's a separation between the JV there in terms of cash and the corporate cash.
So before we get into the strategy and what's going on with the company right now, do you want to kind of give us a background on yourself and how you got involved in the company?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is operations. I've spent a significant amount of time globally running complex mine sites, and prior to joining Galiano, I was with Eldorado Gold, which is a mid-tier mining company, where I spent about 14 years. The majority of that was in China, and I was involved in the actual asset divestment process while we were selling those assets in 2016, and then spent some time at Eldorado's flagship operation in Turkey, Kisladag, when they were going through some metallurgical challenges on the heap, and I built a team around that addressed that issue. I was the general manager at Kisladag for that period, and then the opportunity to transition across to a junior miner in Galiano arose, and I took that on, and yeah, I've enjoyed it since.
Do you want to share a little bit of the company's history, sort of, with us?
Yeah, so I mean the company goes back a long way in the sense that it's an amalgamation of two previous separate entities, and even if you take it one step further than that, we're processing deposits that were previously mined by Resolute in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then fast forward to the 2000s, we had two companies, PMI, that had the Resolute ground, and then there was Keegan Resources that had their Sarsi deposit, which is about 30 kilometres north of our current processing facility, and those two companies were combined to form Asanko Gold. And a mine was built and commissioned in 2016, and then the company was subsequently rebranded in early 2020 from Asanko Gold to Galiano. So there are a few people that we speak to that are a little bit confused around who Galiano is, and if you know Asanko Gold, it's basically the same company.
Okay. And so what are you in Zurich for?
We're here for the European Gold Forum that's taking place just after Easter.
So what's the sentiment of the at this conference, and how have the meetings been so far?
It's been good. I mean, this is I'm still pretty new to the space in terms of the CEO marketing kind of space, being more operational. I'm just stepping into the world of marketing, and so I've heard that it's a good turnout. We've had very receptive meetings over the last 2 days, institutional and family funds that are interested in our story. Obviously, as you said before, we've had a nice run up in stock. We've just released a new technical report that describes the 8-year life of mine with really solid financial performance, and over that life of mine we'll be producing on average 217,000 ounces per year of production. So it's a significantly sized operation in terms of size and scale, right?
So the original plans that were in place, probably from previous management, have there been any shortfalls that you need to kind of go over? Or?
Well, listen, I mean, one of the things that drew my attention to the company and was, I guess, my strength in operations. And what I saw is a company that probably was historically underperforming. And knowing my history and the team that I could assemble, that certainly was an area that I wanted to kind of address. And when I first joined Galiano, I was actually the COO for a period of about 12 months. And my first kind of task was to build around me a team that could actually manage the complexity of the operation that we manage in Ghana. And that's what we did. And listen, in terms of previous history with the operation, as I said earlier, I mean, it was commissioned in 2016. At that time, it was held on a 100% basis by what was then Asanko, same company now, Galiano. They got into a little bit of trouble with regards to reconciliation at one of our pits at that time, and that resulted in the formation of the JV, which occurred in about 2018.
Okay. So you did mention that you released an updated or a new technical report. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of maybe talk a little bit about that? And actually maybe we'll grab some slides from your team and we'll put them up right now and sort of they can visualize what you're talking about. Sure,
yeah. So we undertook a significant infill and step-out drilling program across all our known deposits over the last 12 months. And that's increased the size and scale of two deposits in particular. Miradani is one, which is stated as a maiden mineral reserve, and then Abore has grown in size and scale as well. So now we have an 8.5-year mine life that's underpinned by 4 key cornerstone deposits, which provides a level of flexibility with regards to the life of mine plan. We're looking to, I'll just start with reserves and resources. I think that's a good place to start.
Okay.
Resources in the M&I category grew year on year by 21%, and we now stand at about 3.5 million ounces of gold in the M&I category. In the third category, we saw a significant increase, jumping by about 200% year on year, and they currently sit at 1.1 million ounces, and our proven and probable reserves are 2.1 million ounces at a grade of 1.31 grams per tonne, and just shy of 49 million tonnes of ore. So we'll be processing that over a period of 8.5 years, and again producing about 217,000 ounces per year on average over that time span. The cash costs over that period are around $1,130 odd dollars an ounce, which for Ghana is actually not a bad cost base. We undertook a significant restructuring and cost optimization program last year as well, and we've realised immediate savings on that front, but those savings will also be realised in the future as well, or continue to be realised in the future. With regards to NPV, post-tax is about $343 million at a 5% discount using a $1,700 gold price. So,
right.
Relatively robust economics as well.
Let's talk about
metallurgy.
Yes.
Yes.
Have you had any issues with that?
Yeah, I mean, we did see some lower recoveries at our Asasi deposit earlier last year, we made a decision at that point in time, which was, it was a difficult decision to make, but it was timed right in the sense that we had already established the technical team on site, and they've had enough time to familiarise themselves with the asset and actually start adding value, because there needs to be a time allocated or allowed to the team to actually get a feel for the asset, and they had that under their belt by that stage. And after the issues with lower recoveries at Asasi hit us, we made the decision to transition to processing stockpiles and really dive into the technical aspects of the operation. We did that through a comprehensive geometallurgical drilling program last year. An external metallurgical test work program was undertaken, and at the same time we also took the opportunity to continue infill drilling our deposits and advance our understanding of the geology across all 6 deposits. We now have resolved all of those issues, or at least I'd say defined what they are,
right,
on a go-forward basis, and that's described in our technical report. It's that feasibility study, overall what we found is that the metallurgical recoveries at Asasi are impacted by carbonaceous material that doesn't exist in high volumes in the deposit, but where it does exist, it does draw the recoveries down a little bit, and we'll be looking to process Asasi in isolation from the other deposits on a go-forward basis, just to ensure that contamination of carbonaceous material doesn't occur and isn't spread across the other deposits.
What's the plan for someone who's watching this? Maybe they're looking at your stock and they look at your, how much money you have in the bank, and how is this company going to grow? What's the game plan?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, obviously we want to grow the business and use that cash to facilitate growth. One of the things that, I certainly want to run to ground is, we're in this joint venture arrangement, which is, a 50-50 joint venture, which isn't ideal at the best of times. And then what's really unique about this joint venture is that we're the operator, the junior miner is the operator, which is, I think, extremely unique in the industry. So from my perspective, we're doing 100% of the work at the Asanko Gold Mine, and the shareholders of Galiano are seeing only 50% of the reward on the back of that. So for me, I think the first priority for exploring M&A options is certainly the rationalisation of the JV, and we think that can be advanced through the course of this year, and if that was to move forward, then we'd certainly utilise the cash at the corporate level to structure a transaction that makes sense. It's not going to be obviously 100% cash. There'll probably be a cash component. There might be a minor equity component, and then some deferreds, etc., that we could potentially layer on. But obviously it takes 2 to tango, and if that's not something that can be resolved in the short term, then we'd be looking to use that cash to grow the business with respect to advanced stage exploration or early stage development projects in jurisdictions that we're comfortable operating in.
What jurisdiction, what areas do you like? You're pretty diverse, right, with your experience from El Dorado. Mm-hmm. And they had some Greek assets too, didn't they?
They do, yeah. They've got a whole bunch of Greek assets there that they're advancing at the moment.
So what are your favorite places in the world to develop a mine?
Listen, I really like Turkey. I mean, I've got a soft spot for Turkey because I spent 2.5 years there. I think it's a great place to do business. There's a skilled workforce. It's close to heart because, obviously I spent time there. In Africa itself, we like Namibia. I think it's one of the premier jurisdictions to operate in. Obviously, operating in Ghana, we don't want to leave any stone unturned with opportunities that may exist in Ghana. We already have a team set up and in place there, and if there was to be a growth opportunity that arises in Ghana, we'd certainly want to pounce on that. But also, I guess, as you pointed out, I mean, our team that we've put together is certainly not merely Africa-centric or Africa-focused. We do have experience operating in South America. We're headquartered in Vancouver, so if there was opportunities in North America, we'd also be looking at it. So it's a broad range of jurisdictions that we're certainly looking at in terms of growth.
Yeah, I think obviously you'd be comfortable with Turkey. I know Turkey's got hit with inflation pretty hard, but there could be some difficulties there. When it comes to catalyst in 2023 for the company, what can we expect?
Sure. So I've just kind of outlined that last year we transitioned to processing of stockpiles and still generated, as I said, a significant amount of cash off those stockpiles. We're still processing those, and on the back of the technical report, we're looking to get back into hard rock mining by the end of this year. We've actually issued tender documents to potential contracts already, and are looking to finalise mining contracts sometime in Q2, and then get back into hard rock mining by Q4. So that's one catalyst that you should be aware of. The other thing that we're doing at the moment is we're still optimising and tweaking the life of mine plan, because, as described, it's at a point in time, right? And what occurred over the course of 2020 is, in order to get the life of mine plan to a feasibility level of confidence, we went out to tender for mining contracts in order to firm up the contract rates early on in 2022.
Right.
As we were drilling those deposits over the remainder of the year, we found that they've actually grown in size and scale, and what we now know is that those deposits can be mined with larger equipment, which would have an impact on reducing the unit costs, bringing forward ounces and reducing the strip duration as well. So the contracts that we've gone out, or the tender documents that we've sent out to the contractors, actually define the use of larger mining equipment that's been larger than has been described in the technical report. So there's upside potential for that as well, that may become evident over the next few months as well.
I've got two questions left for you. One of them is, the first one is, has there been any technical advances in the industry that you've come across the last few years that you really like?
Listen, I think ore sorting is one that is gathering some momentum recently, and it's one that's actually close to heart for us at Galiano, because it's one that may be implemented in particular at the Asasi deposit to upgrade the grade of our ore there. We've done a fair bit of work externally with the providers of the ore sorting equipment that shows reasonable upgrades are possible there. We're still in the early stages of running that to ground, but I think ore sorting with the right geology has certainly has a potential greater impact on the industry than is currently being realised. And we're certainly looking to try and maximise its applicability at the Galiano, at the Asanko Gold Mine.
Is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to cover?
I think we touched on most things, Carl. I think it's been a good chat.
Awesome. Well, we're not far from the hotel actually, so I think we'll wrap it up here. I'd like to say thank you very much for joining us on behalf of our community.
Thank you.
And I wish you nothing but the best with the company. And I do agree that the gold price is most likely going to go up. And yes, as you mentioned, the company is very leveraged to the price. So we'll be keeping a close eye, and maybe we can catch up with you towards the end of the year.
That would be excellent. Yeah,
awesome.
Fantastic.